Hello everyone, my name is Seth, and today I'm going to give you my review of the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie. So, like how Taylor Swift has interrupted the theater's schedule for spooky season, she has done the same thing on my channel. As you know, if you've been watching, I've been doing some kind of spooky adjacent kind of films for October leading up to Halloween. And I originally wasn't going to review this. My wife wanted me to review it whenever she got the ticket. She's a big Taylor Swift fan. And I thought, okay, whatever. Maybe we'll see. But I honestly liked it enough to review it. So here we are. But before I go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. So this film has done really great at the box office so far. By last count, it's sitting at about 96 million domestically for an opening weekend, which is really good. And it's about 130 million internationally for the opening weekend. And already that sets a domestic record for concert films. And it's super close to the domestic record for a debut at the box office in October. And this is just so impressive because it was only announced 6 weeks ago, something like that. For this to turn into a tentpole film that movie theater owners are really looking forward to, they have been really looking forward to this. It's just so incredibly impressive. This wasn't on the release schedule a couple months ago. And I'll also start this with saying I wouldn't necessarily call myself a Swiftie. So maybe this might make this review a little bit more interesting to you. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's kind of my perspective as somebody who does like, a lot of her songs. I like most of her stuff probably from 1989 forward. Some of my favorite songs are Lover, Champagne Problems, Shake It Off. I have some experience working with live music, doing camera for live music, directing live streams for live music. And so I was really interested going into this to see how all of this would come together. And I think it came together extremely well. And honestly, I loved it. They did such a good job of making you feel a part of the concert and made you feel like you were there. You had the best seats in the house. Like with a narrative film, the camera work, the camera movement, the editing, it all works together to help set the tone and really immerse you into whatever story you're trying to tell. And I think they do a fantastic job. Whether you're doing camera or you're switching, you really have to be aware of what you're doing. You need to be aware of what cuts are saying to your audience, what camera movements are saying to your audience. And they were extremely mindful of that here. And it really just helps you just dive into the music. They had a very great use of the wide shots. They got in close when they needed to. I loved the movement of the cameras. And they were able to give this giant, grand feel to this concert. And I really appreciate that. The scale here was super impressive. And they did such a good job here that I'm going to recommend to all of our camera guys and all of the other guys who end up doing the switching or directing to go see this. There's a lot of good things to take from this film. And unless you were looking for them specifically like I was, you're not going to notice any of the cameras in the different shots. So they're not distracting at all. And the way that they're able to line up your sight line in the frame between each cut, you're looking exactly in the frame where they want you to. And the only shots I would like to have seen would be some super tight close-up shots of her when she's playing guitar or piano, in on her hands, or some shots like that of the band. And I understand because of the venue, because of the type of environment they're in, those shots might not have necessarily impractical. It could have caused a little bit of like interruption to the actual concert to get some of those shots, but they did have a couple of close-up shots and they did a good job with those. And this also goes along with the editing, but it has an excellent pace to this film. You never feel like it's dragging. You never feel like it's going too fast. I mean, this film is 3 hours. It's pretty long, but I never really felt the length of the film. I was just immersed in the concert. And of course, one of my big takeaways is that this concert was just really fun. It was just a really fun concert. It looked like it was a blast to be at. Taylor Swift put on a great performance. My wife and one of her friends actually got to go see the Taylor Swift concert when she was in Nashville, and they had such a good time. My wife said it was maybe the best concert she's ever seen. And after seeing this film, yeah, I can see that. Taylor Swift can definitely put on an awesome show. And she has a great voice, and she's a fantastic songwriter. And so you definitely don't want any of that to get lost. And that's where I think the audio in this really shines. The mixing was incredible. Like, there's no complaints there. It was basically perfect. You could definitely hear the roar of the crowd and things like that, all of the cheering and clapping, but you didn't lose anything from the instruments or her vocals. And one of the things I think you can appreciate and take away from this film is that there were so much little details that went into this concert, like just from the mics changing. Again, with me having some experience in live music and broadcasts and things like that, having all of those different microphones must have been a nightmare, but it was really cool. Like that's something that takes the concert just up another step, really. Just those little tiny details are just so cool. And I like how this film kind of lets you in on some of those. And honestly, this same attention to detail went into this concert film as well. And I know Taylor Swift always puts a ton of effort and detail into like everything she does. And that's one of the things that makes me super excited for the film that she's going to direct. And I think here they're absolutely setting her up for success with this film whenever she has time to make it. Because if I remember correctly, it's going to be with Searchlight, which is one of the smaller divisions with Disney. Used to be Fox Searchlight. They do some of like the smaller, lower budget films, but some of those films also kind of go on to be like Oscar nominated, things like that. And so I think that's a perfect situation. It's going to be low budget, low pressure, just kind of ease your way into it. And she's going to have access to all of the help she needs. And so I'm really excited to see whatever she comes up with her directorial debut. Overall, this was a really fun concert film. It made you feel like you were there. And there was a lot of attention to detail. The camera work, the audio was on point. And honestly, it made me just a little bit jealous that I didn't get to actually go to a concert. I don't know exactly how to give this a score because all of the other films I've reviewed so far has been a narrative, like a fictional narrative-based film. And so I don't really know how to review this. I don't exactly know when it comes to the end of the year how I'm going to rank this, but I had no problems with this. This was just a lot of fun. I think I'd have to go ahead and give it a 5 out of 5 stars. And honestly, I would recommend this to anybody. I mean, obviously Swifties are going to go ahead and go see this film. Even if you don't consider yourself a Swiftie, I would still recommend it. And especially if you have any kind of interest in working in like a live music setting, anything like that, I would recommend watching this. There's definitely plenty to take away. But that's it. That's my review of the Eras Tour movie. Have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. Did you get to go in person to a concert? Let me know how that was. I bet it was a ton of fun. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. We're getting closer and closer to 100 subscribers. So like I said, if you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. It would absolutely make my day. You can follow me on social media anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.